Hey, my name's Max, I'm the developer of Hydroneer, and in this show I go behind the scenes to give you a look at what I do to actually create Hydroneer. Today is Saturday the 25th of April, and yesterday I put the 1.2 update to everyone that's got Hydroneer. If you don't have it already, then it'll be on Steam on May 8th for $8, and then $10 after the first week. Now this update was a pretty big one. If you take a look at the patch notes here, you can see I added quite a lot of stuff in the last month. Some things that you haven't seen on the show already is the Goliath drill. Let's see here. We'll also put in the original soundtrack as well. I've currently got it disabled just so it doesn't mess with the background audio. I also added in a funnel item. We've also got uncut gems. I showed a little bit about that. We also got quite a lot of fixes and changes just to really balance up the game. I'm really happy with how this patch is going right now. I also put out a very quick hot patch as well just to improve a bit of the vehicle physics, which I'll actually be going into a little bit more next week as well. But this week, what we're going to do is take a step back in time, and I'm going to show you what happened this week when I decided that I wanted to add in one last feature to the 1.2 update. So I'll stop talking now, and I will show you my previous self creating the wall painting functionality. So I've just been talking to some of the guys that are helping me test out this new version of Hydroneer. And I had an idea. What if we had the ability to repaint the walls that you've got here? Now this is a little bit tricky because obviously the update goes out on Friday and it's currently Monday night. So that doesn't really give me a lot of time to put this in the game and then also get it tested and completely bug free for the actual release on Friday for 1.2. If you're watching this video, then the 1.2 update is probably already out. And I hope you guys are enjoying it, and I hope this feature actually made it into the version, but for now I'm gonna try and put it in. So what I'm gonna have to change is firstly the models. I'm gonna have to retexture all of them, and so we have two textures on one model. So essentially the wall will be one solid color, and then the wood parts will be in a separate texture completely. Then I'm gonna have to add in some functionality for changing the wall color. So you know, if you had a paintbrush with a certain color on it, then if you hit the wall, then it would change color to that color on your paintbrush. I'm also going to have to change the way that walls are saved and loaded, so then it saves the colors. And I'm also going to have to create the paint buckets and the brushes as well. Chewy will probably make the brush, and then I'll repurpose the buckets so then they can be used as paint buckets. Now I had a really cool idea. What happens when you use all of the paint in a bucket? Well, I think what might be kind of cool is make it so when the bucket is empty, it just turns into a normal bucket, so then you can kind of use that. I think it'll be a cool little feature. So right now it is almost 1 AM on Monday night / Tuesday morning, and I want to try and get this in about 24 hours, so then I can send out a test version to the guys that are helping me bug test, and then I'll work with those guys trying to find any bugs and remove them from the system. It's a little bit risky, but I think it's a really cool feature that I definitely want to have into 1.2. Alright, so I've started off just by creating some colors to see how they look. Now I still actually need to split the textures into two separate textures, so it doesn't just color everything in, but I'll do that later on since it'll take quite a while. I'm just testing out with some of these materials. I'm not sure if they work too well, but I think once I've actually got the textures split, I can actually have a better idea of if it works or not. So I've just split up the materials now in the model, and it's starting to really get there. So what we've got here is the 6 variable materials, as well as the white one up top as well. And I'm not sure how I feel about all these materials. So the white one I'm really happy with, but I think everything else is a little bit too bright. I think each material has its own separate problems. Like the blue and the pink are a bit too bright. I think the green could be a little bit rougher. The orange is starting to kind of look like yellow. The pink could be darker. The red is okay-ish. It could be a little bit less red and a bit more orange, I think. And the purple is just way too bright as well. Now you can see I've kind of angled these meshes so I can see what it would look like when it's got shade on it, because obviously like the sun is coming from just behind us. So I need to be able to see what it looks like when the light is directly shone on it, and also what it would look like with a bit of shade. And now I'm just about done with the colors. I'm pretty happy with everything here. I think the colors blend quite nicely together. I also had to get rid of purple. It wasn't really working out, so I scrapped it. I thought pink's quite close anyway, so it kind of doesn't really matter that much. But I'm really happy with these colors, and now what I need to do is add in some paint buckets and paint brushes. I've just made it so these walls can be saved and loaded. So the next thing to do is to add functionality to be able to actually change the wall colors. All right, so I'm still going at it tonight. It's just gone 2 a.m. And right, I've got all the items set up here. So we've got our bucket of paint right here. I've got a paintbrush here. Obviously, I'm just using the old brush model, but I'll get a new one tomorrow when Chewie wakes up. And we've got 5 walls right here. Now, each paint can has 5 uses. So hopefully what will happen is when I've just used the last bit of paint, then it should basically spawn a bucket in this exact location and remove this one. That's basically how I'll get it to change from a paint can into a bucket. Okay, so let's just place down some of these walls. Okay, so it looks like I need to do a bit of code on making everything blue when I'm placing down these walls. Just to let you guys know, this is the first test that I'm doing on this. I've just done all the code, well, all the code that I think I should do for this, for painting walls. So there might be quite a few things wrong. So you're coming along for the ride right here. So you can see like it only makes the first material. And it doesn't make the other material blue, which is kind of annoying, but that's okay. Right, so let's just push that there. All right, so that's the first bug we need to look into. So now I'm going to pick up my paintbrush. All right, so the way this works is I'm going to dip this paintbrush into here. Cool. And right, so immediately I can see an issue where there should be like a cube spawning on the top of this, which would identify that it's used the red paint, but that's okay. I'll look into that later on. Let's see, is this gonna work? No. Okay, so for some reason it's not working, but can we, but I just want to test, can we get rid of all of the paint in the bucket and spawn a regular bucket? Okay, cool, well that works, so that's one less issue. All right, okay, that's fine. Yeah, I didn't want to go to sleep anyway, so... Okay, alright, I just did a quick fix. I didn't fix the blue transparency color just yet, but I did figure out what was wrong with it. The bucket has a value which tells the paintbrush exactly what color it is, and basically I just forgot to set that variable. It was set to none still, so we're just gonna put that there. Okay, cool, so now we have red. Obviously, it's just a block for now, but yeah, you can fix that later on. So, hey, there we go, and it removed it as well. See, look, if I try and click this, nothing. Awesome. All right, let's get another bit of paint. It needs a bit of animations as well. Maybe like a little dip-in animation might be quite cool. And we'll do that one as well. See, can we paint something that's... Yeah, I think we can paint something that's not there. Awesome. Okay, and then, so you can see here, the tooltip for this, I haven't set the tooltip for the brush, but the tooltip for the red paint bucket says red paint bucket. So, yeah, that's great. I just need to set the tooltip for the brush as well. But let's grab that one last... Yeah, there's one last bit in there. And there you go. It is now a bucket. Awesome. Okay, cool. So, what issues do we have now? Well, I think we could put in like a little animation for dipping in. And then I think we can also... I think we can also change the tooltip for the brush so it's not the same as the... So it's not the same as the last brush model. And then we can look into changing the materials as well for this. Okay, I think I've fixed everything now. Let's have a look. So first off, you can place everything down and it all appears as the blue transparent color. So next what we're gonna do is pick up the brush. Okay, cool. It's got the tooltip that we need. And I'm gonna grab some of that paint, give it a little animation. Nothing too crazy. Again, we need to wait for the model to be finished tomorrow, so I can't actually do that now. And there we go. So we can paint all these pieces. So next thing I need to do, I need to create all the other paint buckets. Now this is a lot easier than you think. So the way that programmers work is we sometimes create things called children. Now obviously I'll leave the explanation of how children are created to your parents, but the way it works in programming is essentially I have one parent class, like this bucket right here, that holds all the necessary information about how a bucket should act. And when you create a child of that class, it simply just takes those characteristics, or in other words, just the code and how it works, and then it applies it to the children of that class. So we can have children with different colors, and then we just change two variables. One of them will be the color of the mesh that's in here, and then the other will be the variable that controls what color is in there. Super simple stuff and shouldn't take me too long. And then lastly, what I need to do is make the shop variants of these actors. So when we go into the store, we have all these different objects in here. I just need to create the object that allows it to spawn items. All right, so I just threw everything into the store. So let's take a look at that. Cool, yeah. I was slightly worried that you wouldn't be able to see the paint from the height of this table, but you can see it pretty well. I think that's great. Still need a new brush, but that's all right. We'll get that tomorrow. Yeah, I think everything's looking awesome. So I'm going to call it there for the day. It is just coming up to 3 a.m. So that was actually pretty quick to get in all those features. Really happy about them. We still need to do some testing. So over the next few days, me and the community helpers that have got copies of the newest version will be going through this and making sure there's no issues. And now I can finally go to bed. Okay, and we're back to present day me. I just noticed while I was editing this that I never actually showed the paintbrush being finished. So this is the finished paintbrush model. I think it came out really cool. I think it matches the style really well. So I'm just gonna dip it in here. This is color black. I made it a tiny bit blue. I think that looks really cool. And of course you can kind of paint whatever color you want. You can also paint on top of the colors to get rid of the previous one, which is also pretty neat. So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. If you want to check out more stuff, be sure to subscribe. Patreons do get these episodes a few days earlier, so consider subscribing if you want to support me. As well as picking up the game on May 8th when it's out. It will be released for $8 for the first week and then $10 after that. You can also follow me on Twitter as well. All my links are down in the description below. A big thank you as always to all of the Patreons. I really appreciate your support. I hope you guys are enjoying the update if you already own a copy of the game. And if not, I hope you're excited for the Steam release coming up. Thanks for watching everybody, and I will see you all next week.